Welcome to Wall Street Insights. Now, we all know Apple is a titan, but the real question, the one that truly matters for investors and strategists, is how did they build this empire? Today, we're going to tear down and rebuild Apple's business model, piece by piece, to see exactly how they went from just a hardware company to an absolute ecosystem overlord.
So, really, how did they do it? I mean, how does a company that, at its core, sells physical devices end up building this impenetrable fortress that basically defines the tech world for millions of people? That's the core question we're digging into today. All right, let's jump right in. This whole journey for Apple, it wasn't some happy accident. No, it was a calculated, brilliant evolution. They fundamentally changed their philosophy from let's sell you a device to let's build an entire world for you. A world so seamless you'd never even think about leaving. Okay, so at the very heart of this strategy is what you see here, the hardware plus software plus service model. You have to understand, the real genius isn't in any one of these things alone. It's how they're so tightly integrated, how they're locked together. The hardware is the gateway which gets you into the software, which then sells you the services. It's a self-reinforcing loop, and frankly, it's the engine of their entire success.
So, let's start with the foundation of it all. The premium hardware. Think of it as the price of admission, the exclusive gateway into the entire Apple ecosystem.
So what makes the hardware so powerful? Well, it's really these three pillars working together. First, you've got the premium branding. The industrial design, the user experience, it all lets them command those high prices and, more importantly, those high profit margins. Second, their portfolio strategy is just brilliant. You have the standard iPhone, then the iPhone Pro. This isn't just about choice, it's a deliberate strategy to push up the average selling price, the ASP. And finally, the real ace up their sleeve, their own chips. The A series, the M series. This gives them insane performance advantages, total control over their supply chain, and lets them integrate hardware and software in a way that, honestly, nobody else can touch. Okay, so you've bought the hardware. You're in the door. Now, this is where the real money-making machine gets turned on. We're talking about the services business, the engine that's fueling Apple's insane profitability and, just as importantly, its user stickiness. And this slide right here shows you the financial genius of the whole model. Look, selling an iPhone is a one-time thing. It's cyclical. You have to hope people upgrade every year or two. The margins are, well, they're good, but they're not great. But services, that's a whole different ballgame. We're talking recurring, predictable revenue streams with significantly higher profit margins. This pivot to services is what hedges the entire business against a bad hardware cycle. It's what gives Apple its rock-solid financial foundation. And this services engine isn't just one thing. It has several powerful components. Of course, you've got the App Store, the absolute core of it all, generating massive profits by taking that 15 to 30% commission from developers. Then you layer on all the subscription services, Apple Music, iCloud, Apple TV+. Each one creates predictable revenue and makes you more and more dependent on the ecosystem. And on top of all that, they're monetizing their user base even further with things like search ads in the App Store and fees from Apple Pay. Okay, so you've got the hardware to get people in and the services to make money from them. So, how do you keep them there? How do you protect this whole empire? The answer is Apple's ultimate competitive advantage, its moat, the closed ecosystem, what we all call the walled garden. And this? This is the Apple flywheel. It's a self-perpetuating loop, and it is beautiful in its simplicity. You start by selling incredible hardware. That brings in a massive, loyal user base. Then you monetize those users with high-margin services. You take those profits and reinvest them into R&D to make the hardware and software even better. This makes the ecosystem stronger, which makes it incredibly difficult and expensive for users to switch. And that, in turn, just attracts more new users to the platform. It's a virtuous cycle that just keeps spinning faster and faster. But you know, no empire is invincible. So we have to look at the horizon. What's next? What are the big opportunities for growth? And what are the serious risks that could actually threaten this incredible dominance? When you look at Apple's future, it's really this constant tug of war. On the growth side, you have some clear drivers. Services revenue keeps climbing as they monetize that massive installed base. Wearables like the Apple Watch are a huge high-growth category. And then you have untapped potential in emerging markets, especially India. But you have to balance that against some very real risks. The company is still hugely dependent on iPhone sales. There are major geopolitical and supply chain risks, especially with their reliance on China. And maybe most importantly, that walled garden is now under serious attack from regulators all over the world.
So let's boil this all down. What are the key takeaways from an investment perspective? First, you have to stop thinking of Apple as just a hardware maker. Its real value is in being a platform company. Second, that services business is absolutely crucial. It's the high-margin, durable revenue stream that de-risks the entire business model. Third, the walled garden is still its most powerful competitive moat, period. And finally, even with all the risks we talked about, the power of its brand, its ecosystem, and its capacity for innovation are just undeniable long-term assets. Now, before we wrap up, just a brief but very important disclaimer. This analysis is for informational purposes only. It doesn't constitute investment advice. All the analysis is based on public information, so please always conduct your own research and consult with a professional advisor before making any investment decisions.
If you found this analysis valuable, and I hope you did, please make sure you follow our official account, Wall Street Insights. And of course, don't forget to like this and share it with your network.
So we'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. As AI begins to completely reshape the technology landscape, you have to ask, will Apple's walled garden, its greatest strength for a decade, continue to be its fortress? Or could it actually become a limitation in this new, more open era? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.